Chapter 37. The Clifton Suspension Bridge, Bristol, England, June 23rd, 1889. The heavens had opened above England, and rain was bucketing down, flooding the streets of Bristol as Strawberry splashed her way through the city. The hem of her dress was soaked through with mud, deepening the color of the pink fabric to a blood red, and rain was pouring from the edges of her umbrella in great sheets around her. Thunder boomed in the distance. They could see the bridge ahead of them, a towering structure of brick and mortar and steel spanning the deep chasm which opened up to the vast river below. The streets were empty around her as she walked, and Strawberry checked a pocket watch in the dim light of the street lamps, making sure she wasn't too late. A growing unease had settled in her stomach, and as she neared the bridge, Mumbu could feel it bud and bloom in her chest, petals and vines crushing her lungs and making it hard to breathe. They weren't sure what they were more afraid of, if Ray had already gone and she had missed her one chance in contact, or if he was still there waiting for her, still infected. Strawberry felt caught in a storm, her life battered about in a whirlwind of fear and uncertainty. She had lost track of the days since Haley had vanished, spending them in sleepless wanderings of her gardens. She was a ghost in her own home, drifting deliriously from room to room and flowerbed to flowerbed. She had journaled her thoughts, piecing together vast webs of conspiracies, and she had torn out the pages, casting her theories into the fire. Perhaps they were all being hunted, all of them, by some kind of killer. Eliminated one by one, the evidence hidden away from the law with only a matter of time before she was taken out too. Perhaps the disease had compelled Ray to flee the country, and Shepherd and the others had ventured forth to track them down. As they floated this idea in their mind, they considered writing to their sister for aid. Would she even be able to, however? The woman might have been the only chance Strawberry had to find the others in the situation, but that idea was quickly discarded. She had landed, finally, on her worst fear. The most extreme, yet at the same time most plausible possibility. Ray's house was destroyed, as was Bovine Hall, where Haley had gone missing. Ray was dangerous. Mumbu had known that already from Easton's letters. It was not impossible for the researcher to have destroyed his own home and the home of Martin and Emmanuel in turn. Strawberry shuddered at the thought of what Ray could have done to the others. To Easton and Sherbet and Haley. Maybe Jamie had known, and that was why they had fled, disappearing from her life. It was the belief they had held until Ray's letter had arrived. The letter that had turned her thought process upside down, that had cast her back into the raging storm the moment she thought she had anchored herself. Jamie was with Ray, a person she knew to be dangerous. A person who now, with no corroborating evidence, believed she would abandon everything she had been told. Who tried to convince her that her partner and her child were dangerous, that they were kidnappers. They didn't want to believe it. They didn't believe it, in fact, even though they had decided to meet with Ray, traveling across the country and braving the weather to make this isolated location. All for a meeting with a madman. Strawberry looked up through the rain and saw the figure on the bridge, a silhouette hidden beneath an umbrella. Mumbu stepped out onto the bridge, feeling the wind whip at her hair. "Raymond?" Strawberry asked cautiously. She feared her voice would simply be lost to the howling wind, and prepared herself to shout louder, but the man looked up, raising his umbrella. Mumbu sucked in a breath at the sight of him. Even from their short distance away down the bridge, they could see the infection which clung to his face, shadowy and indistinct in the darkness. A bandage was wrapped around it, although it was stained through with a dark, almost purple blood. Ray's dark hair was long and unkempt, thrashing about him in the wind and clinging to his sullen cheeks. As she stepped closer, warily, Strawberry could see his uncovered eye, sunken and puffy and streaked with red. "Mumbu," Ray smiled weakly. He moved forward towards her, and the woman stepped back instinctively. "Stay there," Strawberry warned. "Don't come any closer." She had to yell to be heard over the wind now as it picked up around them. Ray attempted to raise his hands, showing that he understood the message, and in the process his umbrella was ripped away by the storm, flying over the side of the bridge and off into the darkness of the clouds and the oncoming dusk. Ray made a singular, jerking motion to try and grab at it, which sent him disastrously close to the edge of the bridge, and he wheeled back, anchoring himself on the wet concrete as best he could as the rain pelted down around him, soaking through his clothes. Ray peered at Strawberry through the rain as best he could with one eye. Are you infected? He asked, struggling to be heard. Mumbu looked offended as she shook her head. What the bloody hell is that supposed to mean? Darian, has she... The mold? The sickness? Ray took another step towards her, and Strawberry stepped back once again, slipping in the water which rushed past their feet and struggling to regain her balance. I don't know what you're on about, she screamed. I don't know what any of this is about. Where is everyone, Ray? What have you done with Jamie? Ray let out a laugh that was lost in the wind. What have I done with everyone? Sherbet is the one we need to be worried about. Them and Easton and David. Shut up. Just shut up, Ray. Where is Jamie? Strawberry took a 3 steps towards him. What have you done with them? I've cared for them, Strawberry. Ray swung his arms out. They're safe, far away from the people trying to hurt them. They're not safe with you. You're sick. You've infected them with this disease, and... Lightning crashed over the river far below, making both of them jump. Do you think they were safe with you? Jamie was never sick, Strawberry. They tried to tell you that, didn't they? And you didn't believe them. You locked them in their basement, Strawberry. You imprisoned them in their own home, and you left them there. Without food, or water, or even light. Do you know what that did to them? Did you know that they wake up at night screaming for you, wanting their mother to come back and let them out? No, I don't, Ray, because you took them from me. There were tears in Strawberry's eyes now, lost in the rain which flew at them sideways, as if the weather itself was trying to throw the arguing friends from the bridge. I didn't take them, Mumbu. I'm not the one who tried holding them hostage. They didn't want to see you. Hell, they didn't want me to see you now. I don't believe you. Jamie wouldn't... He wouldn't... Mumbu's voice died in her throat. The words she had spoken to Haley weeks ago came back to her now. I don't know about Jamie anymore. Frankly, I don't believe anything you've said. Not this, and not your fucking letter. You can't leave me alone for months, not speak to me at all, and then expect me to believe everything you say. To entrust the location of my partner and my child to someone who, as far as I know, blew up his own house. And Emmanuel's house, too. That was Sherbet, Ray screamed, gesturing wildly with his hands. He could feel the bandages around his eyes sag with the weight of the rain which soaked against his skin and stung against his wounds. It was them, and Easton, and David. And Athena? Mumbu asked. Ray nodded. Did it ever occur to you that you're the dangerous one, Ray? That Athena is staying away from you? You don't know what's been happening, Strawberry. What they've been doing. No, I don't, because no one will tell me a bloody thing. First Sherbet stops responding to me, and then so does Easton, and then Haley goes missing. Haley's missing. Ray cut her off suddenly. How long is she? 2 weeks, Mumbu yelled. 2 fucking weeks ago. When she came looking for you, Ray. I brought her looking for you in London, and then she vanished. And for so long I thought it was on me, that I'd pulled her into danger, but now I'm beginning to wonder if really this is all on you. Ray looked as if he'd been slapped in the face. He also looked as if he was about to cry, if he wasn't crying already. It was hard to tell in the rain. Strawberry, You're the reason this is all happening. The reason everyone keeps disappearing. I don't know what you did to them, but I haven't done anything. Please, Mumbu, you have to believe me. I'm trying to help. I don't have to believe a thing you say. Strawberry went to point her umbrella at Ray, and it too was ripped away by the wind, reclaimed by the sky as it sailed into nothingness. Lightning struck one of the bridge's towers, blinding both of them and momentarily deafening them as thunder dropped directly onto their heads. Mumbu screamed, but the sound was lost in the noise of the storm. You're insane, and I don't care if it's your fault, or it's the infection, or what it is, but I don't trust you, Ray. Fight had gone from both of them, and they were left to stare at each other, pelted from seemingly all directions by the hot summer rain as the wind snatched and grabbed at their clothes. Strawberry, please, Ray begged. We need to find them. Jamie's been all over the country, to every one of Easton's homes that they know. If you know of any more, I'm not telling you, Ray. Even if they were hiding there like you say, even if I knew where they were, I wouldn't tell you. Strawberry shook her head. I'm not putting them in danger. Not my child, not Sherbet, not even David. They're the danger, Ray said. You don't understand. If you don't help us, you're in danger too. And Haley and Jamie and... Are you threatening me? No, that's not what I meant at all, Mambu. The world is in danger here. If we don't... Enough, Mambu screamed. Enough, Ray. Meeting you here was a mistake. I never should have come. Strawberry, wait. Ray raced towards her as she began to walk away. He reached out to touch her shoulder, and Mambu wheeled around, slapping his hand out of the way. Stay away from me, she shouted, looking up at him through the rain. From this angle, lit behind by the flashes of lightning, it was not hard to imagine that Ray was behind everyone's disappearance. He had always appeared as he was, a gentle, kind-mannered and soft-spoken man, too nervous to strike up a conversation, let alone strike another person. But now his handsome face was haggard and scarred, and his eyes stared at her with a wild, deep-seated and frantic fear. He was horrifying to look upon, his visage illuminated by the lightning, a monster looming above her in the storm. If you touch me again, I swear to God, I will... I don't want to hurt you, Ray pleaded. He reached into his coat. Strawberry tensed, fearing a knife or a gun, but Ray simply pulled out a letter, crumpled and damp, now being splattered with rain as he held it out, stepping back to put as much distance between the two of them as possible. It's from Jamie, Ray said, trying to stop the betrayal from reaching his voice. They wanted me to give it to you. Please, just take it before you go. Mabu eyed him cautiously, staring transfixed at the letter, slowly being destroyed more and more every second it was exposed to the rain. They snatched it from his grasp and ran, scrambling as fast as they could over the flooded concrete and underwater stones, barely even bothering to pull up their skirts as they went. She just needed to get away, to be safe, to find Easton and Sherbet before Ray did. That's what she had to do. She had to make sure they were safe. It was all she could do now. They glanced over their shoulder briefly as they ran to make sure that Ray hadn't followed them. He hadn't. He was still on the bridge, exactly where she had left him. Watching her, she left, and carried with her his only hope of saving the people he cared about.